Hi, I'm Candace and welcome to Fitness and Harmonies, practice today for humanity and mental health. What I want you to work on today is shifting from a place of reactivity to reflectiveness. That we are always changing our perspective. So we're going to do gentle, loving, a restorative practice today where we are going to unite ourselves. Notice that we all are united already in that we all have emotions, we all want to be happy, and we all have suffering. And we want to avoid that suffering. So let's come together on the mat and expand that light of love from ourselves to everyone else. So I invite you to come all the way down into child's pose to begin. I'm going to take a very, very gentle, slow, loving practice for myself. So I'm going to use all of my props today to make myself try to feel better. So just for today, I want you to feel supported. Whether it's with your props, your breath, our practice here together. Right now, notice that your body has unique capabilities and shapes and sizes. And that for some of us, some things are never going to change. The length of your bones, the way the bones are shaped. When you come into child's pose, you feel certain compressions. Compressions are where muscle and bone and other connective and soft tissues push into each other, and they're not going to get out of the way. So we also share that none of us have the same body or the same experience or the same abilities. So now begin your breathing practice. Throughout today's practice, I want you to inhale suffering. There's plenty of it around us. Then exhale a golden, loving light. Keep going. Remind yourself to shift from the mindset of I'm doing to I am feeling. So change your mind from being reactive or pushing or controlling into reflective, into a mind that's discovering. One more breath. Remember, we're breathing in suffering. Take it in. It's all around. Breathe out a loving golden light. Let's come back up and around to a seated pose. So the purpose of that was just to ground us. Take the legs a little bit wide, maybe a little bit wider than your mat. Touch the hands together. Now leave the thumbs an inch in front of you. Then lift your chest. Imagine your thumbs are pulling your sternum up and forward. You're doing this little hooking action and pulling your chest a little up and forward. Then pull the shoulders onto the back. Flex the feet back and push the backs of the legs into the floor. Brace the lower abdominals. I feel that already. Inhale, circle up. Now, as you exhale, grab one wrist and lean away from that wrist. So take the other hand to pull over. Since I'm doing a loving restorative practice, restoring from my run, I'm always going to think, go halfway. Don't push past that line. Inhale as you come up. Switch, pull up and over. Feel your body. Now there's energy pulsating through your body. Even if you don't always feel it, there's always energy. So where your energy is, acknowledge and understand with self-compassion. This is where I am today. I'm kind of low energy. I'm restoring. That's okay. Inhale up. Release your hands. Turn your upper body. Let the arms down. I'm going to put one hand in front, one hand in back to push down. All right, the reason I'm pushing down is to elevate the spine up. So I said your energy is somewhere. I'm picturing my energy in a pool down, almost like on the floor, like I'm on the floor today. And because I'm pushing down, I'm inviting energy to scoop together and rise up through the central channel. Maybe it'll branch out. Maybe it's not ready. Maybe it goes right back down into that pool. So we're honoring the Manipura. That's like the belly chakra today. This is where we hold our feelings of self-worth. That color is that golden yellow. 2 slow breaths. Just feel the body. Remember, don't do these poses or do this practice. Feel this practice. And come back to center. So bring the palms together. Remember, the thumbs kind of hook and pull the sternum forward. Pull the shoulders down and back. Inhale, circle up. Turn in the other way. Let the arms down. So I'm always thinking today, go halfway. Roll the arm bones back so that the shoulders learn to live on the back. Keep shifting. With the inhale and the exhale, keep shifting from a place of being reactive, like quickly being on autopilot, letting your emotion pull you into your next thought, versus being reflective. Like you're stepping back away from that reaction and giving time and space for your perspective to evolve. Just like, something happened years ago, your perspective on it has evolved. You changed how you feel about it. 2 more breaths. Remember, a little cinching and pulling up. And then come back. Let's bend one knee. Now turn a bit towards that knee. Take a second to make sure that the spine, the head, the spine, the low back, and the pelvis are all in alignment. I was noticing this the other day. It's almost impossible to sit like this, to have this perfect alignment in a car. I was surprised. I was trying really hard to pull myself forward, but I noticed the whole seat is like rocked backward. So I just noticed that it's not hard now to get into that alignment because the cue is a flat floor. Then try taking this opposite elbow. So I'm going to walk my knee closer so I don't have to twist quite as far. Down and either onto the knee, on the other side of the knee, or maybe to the inside, wherever it lands. Remind yourself that we all have different stuff. There's different stuff here. The leg is inserting into the bones differently. Everybody has a different angle that they're approaching this. Nobody has that perfect dancer's body. Nobody. Everyone is unique. Wherever your elbow is, push it into wherever the leg is. So whether it's pushing forward, back, or down, push. Use whatever energy you're using there, whatever you're stirring up to uplift the spine. A nice, gentle, slow, loving, restorative practice to deeply connect you to us. That we all have these shared experiences, that we are united because we all have emotions. 2 slow breaths. Keep the pressure on though. And then release. Let's take this knee out to the side. I'm going to leave my leg a little bit out, but if you want to grab the foot and drag it all the way in, do that. Sit up tall on the sits bones. So make sure when you're not in your car where you're rocked backward. Touch the hands to the heart. Inhale and circle up. Exhale, extend back. Come up and hold. Interlace the fingers, stretch up. Turn the palms face up. Stretch up. Release the hands and then forward fold. I'm not going to tell you where to forward fold today. You might be turned a bit towards that leg. You might be turned your body a little bit towards the short knee. There's another way to do this stretch. You might be straddling this long leg. You might be right in the center of your mat. So no pushing today, no pushing yourself past the boundaries of comfort and ease. Notice that you can, first of all, you can control. You can change, but you do it by accepting and understanding your unique anatomy. Everybody has a unique anatomy. Breathe in, suffering. Breathe out, golden, loving light. That's another thing we all share. We all share suffering. And we all want to avoid it. And a certain amount of suffering seems to be responsible and necessary to learn empathy. 2 more breaths. So I'm not suggesting that you should be in your pose suffering. I'm just asking you to acknowledge that there is suffering. Push off the floor. Let's go to the other leg. So legs kind of wide, bend one knee. Fix your back, so align the spine. Remember, not rocked back. It's a very subtle movement. And then take your opposite elbow. Maybe you're twisting your spine. Maybe that's how you get there. Or maybe you're taking your arm a little bit more across. My arm is sort of in front of my body. I'm not twisting my body very much. And then push into the leg. Keep this arm up, almost like your palm is waving at someone. Or stretching, and we're utilizing rotator cuff muscles in the shoulders. I'm using my hand behind me now to make sure I stay forward so I don't sink down and soak in to my low back. Pull the shoulders down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Two more. And then release that. I know. So we're going to take the leg out to the side. We have the one leg down. Stretch up. Extend back. Come up. This time interlace the hands and bring them in front of the chest. Now pull the chest back and drop the chin and the head down. So round out the back and the belly. This is that collapsing down and forward I told you not to do. And then come back up. Turn the palms face up. Let's take another stretch. It's important tendons on the underside of the wrist and the forearm that are usually too tight from all of the clasping we do. And then release the hands. Then come to forward fold. I invite you to find your version of forward fold. Now, some days, if I was feeling good, I would be sweeping around and exploring my twists and turning and grabbing my foot. I would be, kind of just feeling my way through the practice. Hold there and breathe. So restate in your mind. This is a gentle, loving, restorative practice because we all are coming together in humanity. That we all have emotions, we all have reactivity. And the most important thing to remember is that we all just want to be happy and free of suffering and pain. We're just going about it in different ways, just like our postures all look different. How we react and behave and think are going to be different. So shift from that reactive state into reflective and evolving perspective. 2 more breaths. Push to roll back up or come down onto the belly and prepare for a moving cobra. So come around and onto the belly, bring the legs together. Embrace the lower abdominals. So don't let the skin of the belly be stuck on the floor for a moment. So for a moment, almost lift up so that you can embrace and squeeze the abdominals. Then come down. So we're reorganizing and we're placing with control the body parts as much as we can. So once you come down, take the arms a bit wide, kind of like cactus arms, as we call them, cactus arms. Now press your palms down and squeeze your elbows down towards your low back. So imagine that you're doing a pull down. You're not going anywhere. You're just dragging your fingers into the floor. Keep your chin slightly down and now elongate the back of your neck. So your arms are pulling down and your spine is rising up. It's that same concept that we're using Vital Wind. The living energy. Keep pulling the flesh of the shoulders down. 3. 2 breaths with compassion for yourself. It's okay, you can't do this now. Inhale. As you exhale, pull the elbows down towards the floor and push the head and the chest forward and up. So you just lifted the top part of your rib cage up off the floor. Brace the lower abdominals. Inhale. And then exhale, move back down. Let's try that again. Inhale. As you exhale, elbows float down to the floor. You drag the hands back, and that pushes the chest, the torpedo, forward and up. Inhale and exhale down. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, pull the elbows down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push the chest forward like there's something plunging your heart forward through your chest and expanding it out to the world. Inhale. And exhale down. Make your way slowly up into hands and knees pose. Move from cat to cow lovingly. Right? So like my back and my digestive system was, in a really bad state yesterday. And so I'm going to lovingly and gently coax it back into healthy movement. So breathe in wherever the breath goes. My breath isn't ready to go all over my body yet. Breathe out. Notice what you can feel and how you can affect your own suffering. Maybe I should call today's class Compassion for Your Suffering. Compassion for my suffering. 2, whether you're moving or you're holding, keep pulling energy into the Manipura. That's the belly chakra. Then let's step forward into low lunge. So I'm going to grab these blocks and step one leg forward and push forward. This probably is one of the best poses to demonstrate the principle that we're all shaped differently. Some people's hips, the sockets are like kind of on the front of the body. Some people, the sockets are sort of on the sides of the body. Some people's hips are pointing like straight down. So you could see if your sockets were pointing to the front, you couldn't get your leg all the way back. It would hit the bone of the pelvis, and that's as far as you would go. Connective tissue could be almost as resistant as bone. It's not going to reshape. As you breathe in, I am an oasis. As you breathe out, of peace and humanity that we all share. We all share these limitations and these sufferings. That my body is only going to be what it is. That's an okay thing, though. Okay, walk your hands up to your knee. Same as before. Try to take the other elbow onto that knee. Now be careful with this. You may need to walk this front foot across. Maybe that arm doesn't even come, it never gets there. Maybe it doesn't get there. That's okay. Push into the the leg, the knee. Contract the belly. Just one more breath. And then come down. Let's step back. And then try the other leg. With compassion, with this understanding and acceptance that I am what I am. I'm only going to be able to change certain things. But those things that you can change, do that. But just for today, be gentle. Unite us in this field that we all want to be happy. And we have these emotions that make us reactive. Right now I'm feeling the heel on this front foot. You might be feeling the hip flexor. You might be feeling the back. You might be feeling your neck and shoulders. Don't think that every pose has an automatic prescription for what it's going to do for you. Every day you've changed. Come back up. If you can, walk elbow to knee in a twist. Whoa. Good. Try in this pose to expand your heart. So if you're like me, this one's a little bit of suffering. This one's a good example of, ooh, I'm holding on here. If you need to, imagine me. Little bit of suffering. 2 more breaths. And then release. Let's come to hands and knees. Float your way into downward dog. Let's see how this goes today. Downward dog's one of those watermark poses. Someone asks you, how am I doing? You're supposed to say, how are you doing? Get into downward dog. That'll tell you the answer. How am I doing today? Well, not doing well. My downward dog's not feeling it. 3 slow breaths. Remember, spin the arms. Open. Pull the shoulder blades down. Free yourself. Free yourself. Kind of change and shift your perspective. Then step forward. So your forward fold is where your forward fold is. I'm going to try to keep my head a little elevated. Your forward fold is where your forward fold is. Forward fold is one of those poses that people are always measuring. And they come to me and they say, I can't touch the floor, or I can touch the floor, as if I have, an award for the ability to touch the floor. I don't have an award for that. It doesn't matter where your hands land. What matters is what your body is feeling when it's in this pose. What can you squeeze out of this pose? Slow, steady, gentle, loving, kind, warm breaths. Then walk your way all the way up. Do that in a safe and productive way. So we're going to practice from here, coming to the front of the mat, bringing the hands together. Remember, the thumbs lift up to the heart. Pull the shoulders down and back. We're going to practice slowly lifting one leg. That means balance on the other leg, and stepping back into high lunge. Then slowly come back. So I want you to notice and the shifts along the way. That's all we're doing. We're alternating one leg, so other leg up. Pause. Slowly step back into high lunge. And then come back. Notice the shift. So I want you to do that again. One leg then the other. But go so slowly that you almost feel like you are frozen halfway there. So noticing what connects us is stronger than what separates us. Eventually come back into Tadasana at the front of the mat. When you get there, reestablish firmness with your feet. So the toes, the soles, all of that. Reestablish all of that. The organization of the bones and the muscles that are squeezing and pulling up. With the hands together, next time we step back, we're going to twist towards the knee that's still up front. So lift one knee. It's the leg on the floor. That's the one you're going to twist towards. Step this leg back into high lunge. As you do that, start turning towards the front leg. Land that back leg and then see. Can you get the elbow to the knee? I don't know. The answer is probably no. Don't worry about it. Don't force that. That's not part of the practice to force something. Give that 2 breaths. Just notice, just accept and understand what this is or isn't. Now slowly make your way back to the front, the same way we got there, where you slowly drag forward and balance, and then land safely in Tadasana. Then we'll try the other side. So one knee comes up. You begin to step back. As you step back, you twist your upper body in the direction of that front leg. As you come down into your low lunge, you may be able to tip forward, hinge, and elbow to knee, but I'm not going to do that. That's more than enough for me. Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the body just is not ever going to do that. Begin to come all the way back to the front, so step slowly forward and into Tadasana. So I'd like you now to negotiate your way down to the floor, whether that is coming through a downward dog or a lunge, or squatting down. When you get there, roll all the way onto your back. And we'll twist again. Take the arms out wide, cactus, goalpost arms, and the knees and hips to one side. We did quite a few twists today. It's been my experience with this practice that sometimes when we do twists, something changes in your back, the bones and the connective tissue, and sometimes the muscle, reorganize in a way that causes some inflammation. So tonight and tomorrow, you may want to put ice or heat, or get a massage, or if you have one of those little massage devices, on your low back and upper hips area. Change comes through suffering sometimes. Sometimes when we have suffering, it gives us perspective to understand. And understanding gives us empathy. Empathy is, I care for you. I care for you. I know what you're going through, and I feel what you feel. Slow, steady breaths. In. Out. Now shift your legs and knees to the other side. As you shift from pose to pose, remind yourself that this is a practice for humanity and healing. That I'm shifting from reactivity and my emotional state into reflective, evolving perspective. So whatever you're not paying attention to, that view that you're not taking, take that view and take a look. Remember, yoga is the practice of discovering the self with the self through the self. Watch the breath go in. Float into a new level of integration. Like you are just one cell in a multicellular organism. Not better or worse, not more important or less important, just part of. 2 more slow breaths. Feed all of the muscles, all of the cells, all of the systems. And exhale. Come back into center. Cross one ankle over the other knee. Bring both legs in. So I'm going to say hold your knee and your ankle. And for a moment, I want you to drive. Imagine this is something that you can control, right? You pick something up and you can control it. You can move it in any direction. You are going to be limited by the shape and the compressions of tissue and muscle and bone and all that stuff. But move these legs around. I'm not going to tell you what shape. I'm just going to tell you to move and drive and experience. What if you were to twist, pushing one, pulling the other? What if you were to draw one, that is the knee or the ankle, or the other in towards the chest? What if you were to push away and pull in as you pushed away, creating that resistance? What if you were to slowly rock side to side? So notice the limitations. The things I just suggested, some of them were possible. Some of them, you compress. Something was hitting something. So have compassion. We usually have compassion for ourselves. Not always, but usually have compassion because we're experiencing. We already have that unique perspective that I am doing this. And I am feeling this. Give that another 3 breaths. Maybe you're holding on to a really delicious stretch you haven't had. Or maybe you're just exploring and shifting perspective over and over. 1 more breath. And release. Let's try the other side. So recross, ankle over knee. Pause. Hand to knee, hand to ankle. So those are the 2, driving points. Then begin driving. If the only joint that's moving is your low back, then go a little bit smaller. Do a little bit more of this twisting action, pushing and pulling. I want some of it to go into your hip because your hips really are strong and deep, and to use a word, tight, like they're really fully molded. They're not going to just go flying. So they're going to be a little bit more resistant to whatever stretch you're trying to do. What if you were to push these legs away as your knees are pulling in? And the opposite. What if you held on and your legs were trying to push away from you? What would that do? If you release that and just rock side to side, what do you feel? Keep shifting your perspective from one of always thinking that this is the way. This is the stretch that she wants me to do. This is the stretch I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to feel. This is what I'm going to get out of it. To one of more humanity, that we're all sharing the shared suffering, shared emotions, and overall our shared desire to be happy. Give yourself 4 slow breaths now. And then make your way into Shavasana. So we've done a slow, restorative, gentle, loving practice. As you're moving into Shavasana, make sure that you feel supported. Make sure that you feel the ground, the chair, whatever is holding you. Now release down to a new level of integration. You were up. You were at the surface. You were working hard. But just like in nature, the sky and the clouds, the rivers, the mountains, the trees, you are in a cycle of restoration. You are unique with capabilities. You can change your perspective. So, softly release the tensions in your neck and shoulders. Now in the center of your belly, imagine a little flame, a ball of fire. With your gentle, rhythmic inhale and exhale, cause this flame and ball of fire to radiate an imaginary light, gold and yellow and orange and white, radiating positive, warm, strong energy, encompassing you in the light, feeding and fueling you with wisdom and confidence. As you are bathing in this nourishing energy, and as you are transforming, and you are becoming this positive, warm, strong, wise and confident light, you radiate. You radiate love and kindness, an orangey yellow, golden glow. And you bring others into this light. Others are suffering. Others are lonely. And because you know suffering, you have empathy. You can be warm. So expand your heart. Include them. Include everyone. You are an oasis of peace and tranquility because you have shifted to a place of reflective healing. You radiate that. You are supported. You are accepted. And you are transformed. Inhale, I am. Exhale, in control. Inhale, I am. Exhale, in control. You are in control now because you understand and you celebrate your abilities and your limitations. You now understand the self through discovery. Continue to breathe in that suffering, to breathe out that golden light of compassion with courage. Slowly begin to roll to your side. Inhale. Exhale. Push up and off the floor. Come to a seat. Take a seat. So this flame is being held, almost like it's levitating on the seat. Bring the palms together. Touch the thumbs to the heart. Inhale, circle up. We're going to do this again. Exhale, the hands to the heart. So this is the last time. Inhale, circle up, stretch up. Exhale, where you and I unite. Namaste.